So I'm here with Gil Sperling from Flow. Flow is an offsite ad specialist. Gil, you've got 10 minutes to pitch me a skeptical real estate portal on why I should use your service. Off you go.
Cool, great. Thanks for having me. So I think let's start with the premise why we're doing what we're doing, right? So if you look at subscription-based portals as a start, subscription-based portals every year are trying to innovate and go in certain directions to grow their revenue, right? And they've got two options. Most of them have most of the agents, a lot of the stock. So how do you grow the revenue? You either increase your pricing, which everyone hates, or you start offering some really valuable value-added products, right? So for example, different featured listings on site. But the problem with on-site is that you start cluttering the UX, and there's only a certain amount of featured listings that you can really have before every listing is featured. Okay, so what we do at Flow is a form of a value-added product that gets bundled into subscriptions that is a true revenue generator that you can think of as an off-site featured listing, right? So essentially what it means is it automatically generates ads on, if we use Facebook as an example for now, automatically generates ads on Facebook of the listing, but retargeting the audience on the portal. So in other words, you can find the people who are visiting your portal everywhere else on the web by retargeting them, showing, so you can show the ad to people who have visited your portal in the past, right? And one stat with that, by the way, is that on average, a great portal has an average user visiting the portal for 1 hour a month. That same user generally spends 2 to 3 hours a day on social media, right? So you can retarget your same audience on the web and therefore have an unlimited inventory in a sense. And that's really what we do. We're the plumbing that enables that for portals.
Okay, but what about if I'm an agent and I already do social media? I already do ads on Google, Facebook, etc., etc. What's the value add there? How many agents tend to do that?
So many agents, or some agents do, right? Often though, the problem is that the agency world is so fragmented. Every agent is a commission earner doing their own thing, generally probably asking their daughter to run a quick Facebook campaign for them or create a post. The Facebook, if we keep using that environment, is the Facebook ad system is complex, right? So you get marketing teams at businesses that run these things. You've got to design the right ads, know the best practice, optimize it, target it, do the right bidding algorithm, right? So it's complex. Many agents don't do it well, right? And the real key that where you really get return on investment and success is when you've got your own data to retarget. Okay, so you can target people on Facebook who generally are of a certain demographic or of certain interest. They play golf, right? But you cannot target people who are looking at listings in the past month between $1 to $2 million, which is why an agent will always get better results when they're using the innate product from a portal.
Okay, if I'm a skeptical real estate portal for a minute here, two quite big questions. Firstly, can I white label this? Can this Absolutely. Have my logo all over it? Good. And also, if I'm giving this service to my agents, won't their brokerage already be giving them some kind of service like this as well? I know a lot of brokerages have started to do this as well.
Yeah, so I think I mean, if you do look at some brokerages that are offering the service with similar service providers, right? I mean, for one, the immediate thing is going back on that brokerage will not have the immense amount of data that you have as a portal, right? Your results will always be superior. Okay, number two, the way that Flow works is completely turnkey. So never mind that it's white label, it's actually completely back end and it forms part of your product. And so the solution is very turnkey too, right? It automatically generates the creative, the ads, the videos, whatever the ad unit is. And so the service is superior. It's far more automated, far more set and forget, call it. And secondly, it will be superior in terms of results because you're sitting on way better data. So I mean, to end that off, you'd look at I mean, let's take an advanced progressive market like Australia, which is a VPA market, right? So there's a lot more money behind listings and
VPA. Remind
vendor paid advertising, right? So it basically means that a seller is putting a dedicated amount of marketing behind his own listing that an agent then places, right? So it's far more progressive. Australia is there are far more products and service providers that offer social media there, which is why I'm using this as an example, right? Even if you look at a market like that, there are many agencies that are either using the incumbent portal social media offering, and REA has one. REA is the leading portal there. They do have their own. And over and above the 5 or 6 providers in the market that offer direct to agency social platforms, right? So you get varying agencies who make their decisions that are not controlled, generally not controlled by the mothership, the head office. As we know, most brokers are more autonomous, right? So you really have an opportunity to perhaps, the terminology is grab more of the agent and the seller wallet by offering a product like this.
Okay, more questions for you. Which social media platforms are you on? Are you on TikTok? And if not, do you plan to be on there?
So currently we automate ads onto Facebook, Instagram, and the Google Display Network, which are essentially banner ads on CNN.com, for example, and thousands of websites. TikTok as we speak, we're busy developing the APIs to TikTok, as well as LinkedIn and programmatic digital out of home. So an agent will be able to run an ad onto outdoor digital billboard, which is accessible via programmatic. So we're expanding our inventory capability.
Interesting. And in terms of that horrible word beginning with A that all marketing people like, attribution, how easy is it to attribute the leads coming in? And do you actually think it's necessary to really, really go granular and attribute absolutely everything?
I think that's the key and the opportunity for a portal, right? So generally a product like this is positioned in a bundled way, right? So a portal that lands up offering a premium product like this generally bundles both commercially, right? So it's part of a subscription, much easier upsell, but also bundles in terms of results and products, right? So often when you turn on an offsite featured listing, the promise from the portal, like the sales narrative, is something like 3x your listing views. Okay, so that is a far more guaranteed. You're able to far more guarantee a metric like that, and then the attribution to the leads is it's there and measurable, but far less of a conversation, right? So you as a portal have an opportunity to position this in a way that you are less beholden, I guess, or less questioned, I guess, when it comes to the harder metrics, but your attribution is measured across the board because you're in control of it.
Okay, so if a lead comes through, let's say I'm an agent, I go through a real estate portal that has your product, my listings are out on, let's say, Facebook's network, I get a lead from a banner ad on Facebook's network. How does the lead show up on my back end? Who's it attributed to and how?
So let's follow that user journey, right? So when the ad gets generated onto Facebook, the ad automatically is designed. Well, it's designed in a way where when someone clicks on the ad, they're driven back to the listing on the portal. Okay, so that's where it closes the loop, right? So first of all, the ad can be branded or co-branded, and we've got really good templating technology where the portal can choose how the ad's positioned, because it really is about design. So you can have click view on property.com as a generic sort of portal name, right? But co-branded with Remax, if that's the agent that's using it. But always when a consumer who clicks on the ad, they come back to the portal. In that way, of course, you've got full control and attribution. Facebook do have a product called lead forms, right? That's an option. That's when the ad can get generated directly, or the lead gets generated directly on the ad. But similarly, that is part of the ad system, which means that lead gets sent straight back to the CRM of the portal or the database of the portal, and the attribution is still a closed loop. There's no question.
Okay, fair enough. Another question for you. I've seen other services, other companies, other things that do kind of similar things to what you guys do. What makes you guys unique, and have you patented any technology here?
So many of the service providers out there are more close. They're closer to the examples you gave earlier, where agents already use some of these service providers. They provide a platform that is on a brokerage level, right? So it's kind of like a MailChimp. You log into MailChimp, right? And every little business has MailChimp and a license to MailChimp. It still looks like MailChimp, but you go and upload your own email templates and your own base of people. Where we differ, and there are much fewer suppliers out there like Flow, where we differ is that we are the plumbing, right? So we provide the back end and the plumbing to enable this for a portal to completely white label and own the product, to configure it how they want. So it's built in a very modular way. You can really piece it together to have your own kind of IP, to pull in your own data into it, to pull in your own design into it, to really own the product as a portal. And in that case, there are, literally 4 or 5 providers globally that are similar. Where we differ to them is that we've got a lot of focus on our creative ability. I haven't seen other portals do video and short form video to the extent that we do that. So we really are up to date and at the cutting edge of the creative ability. And our creative ability, and this is really where you get the performance on social platforms, is superior, and there's a lot of intelligence behind it and so on. I think it's quite proprietary. And there's also the spectrum of channels that we have, right? And we continue to be fast on it. We're venture backed, actually, so we're fortunately have quite a lot of funding and investment into our product. We're really moving quite fast. So I believe our product is quite superior. I also believe that our commercial model is also quite creative.
Okay, good. I was going to ask about that. So you guys, you say you're generating extra revenue for a real estate portal, right? So how do you monetize it? Do you do revenue share, or is it a flat price?
It's generally a combination, right? So we take a much smaller revenue share and enable portals to have the upside of the revenue that they enable, but where there's a base license fee. The base license fee can be broken up into different features that you use too. So there's some flexibility in picking that out.
Okay.
Yeah, in that way, we ensure that the portal ultimately has the benefit of the upside, because it's their brand equity, position, and power in the market that enables the revenue, and it's for them to make that revenue. I think other providers are quite aggressive when it comes to the revenue share. We less so.
Okay, I've got one last question for you. From my skeptical real estate portal point of view, how much of a headache is this going to be to install on my back end? And are there other case studies, other real estate portals that you've worked with that you'd like to talk about, and maybe I can talk to kind of ask how difficult it was, let's say?
So we put a lot of focus to ensure that the onboarding and the integration is as minimal as possible. The main bottleneck, if you will, which is less of a bottleneck, is the integration to the feed, which actually Flow does. So that we just need to ensure that there is a feed of listings and agents and the subscriptions that are sold, which is probably a bit of work on the portal to enable that in the data. We integrate, we ensure that it's there, but when it comes to designing your packages that you sell, and generally they're like bronze, silver, gold packages, it's literally an interface that the portal can log in and configure their packages, how they want to target, what template they want to use, what are the listing rules. But once the feed is in, it's really straightforward to use. The other way of doing it is we also offer a hosted interface. Right, so you can, instead of building your own interface, where if you are going to offer this on a self-service, we've got a hosted interface that you can embed. It's an iframe with a bit of authentication. So we've made it relatively low integration, but for the exact reason that you mentioned, because there's often an investment, so it's less onerous.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
If I were a skeptical real estate portal, I'd be fairly convinced by now. It does definitely seem that all agents should have some kind of off-site network capabilities, and why not do that at scale through a real estate portal that can, you know, do it properly, do it quickly, do it at scale. Gil, thank you very much for chatting.
Cool, Ed. Thank you.